Howdy, guys, and welcome to Cliff Notes, and welcome to night number 86 of the Overnight Feed recaps for Big Brother Season 25. A fantastic Friday to all of y'all. Now, inside the house, we've got some house guests that are very happy with the way things are turning out as we get into Friday. Others, not so much. We're going to talk about all of that because we had our double eviction live episode last night. We also have a new HOH. Yeah, we're going to talk about that and all the conversations that took place following that. Let's talk about the live episode first a little bit. We lost Blue last night to a 4-0 vote. No surprise there. I think even this idea of a split vote had pretty much disappeared. I still think Matt could have thrown a hinky vote in there and had Felicia blaming Cirie, Cirie blaming Felicia, and created all kinds of chaos. It didn't happen. Blue went out a 4-0 vote. Then Bowie turns around, wins against Matt, comes down to a tiebreaker on the second HOH. Bowie Jane gets it correct. Second HOH for her this season. Second HOH she won with a tiebreaker question as well. So she's queen of the tiebreakers. Bowie Jane then turns around, nominates America and Felicia, one or the other to head out the door. Matt wins the veto, doesn't change anything else up. And with that, the vote's unanimous. America goes home. Yeah, so we're now down to our final five of Matt and Jag, Cirie, Felicia, and Bowie Jane. When we started out on day number one, how many people thought these were going to be the final five? I will say I call that Jag to be the winner, but I may not have picked this particular configuration, but here you have it. We'll talk some more about the live episode, but we got to talk about the HOH because we now have our HOH. Feeds returned about 10:40 or 5 or so Big Brother time, and we learned that the new HOH is Matt. Matt has finally won an HOH. I'm amazed it took this long, but Matt has won his HOH. So, yeah, Jag doesn't get to be HOH 3 weeks in a row officially, but I have a feeling Jag may have a little bit of input into what Matt does for this week, and we'll be spending quite a bit of time up in the HOH room. So yeah, it might as well just almost be Jag's third week. But Matt wins HOH, so he and Jag firmly keep control of the house. We're going to see what they do. We're going to talk about all of that. But let's talk a little bit more about the live TV episode as well. Let's talk about that double. Now, first of all, as soon as Julie Chen goes to all the house guests sitting around, you can tell just by the look on Blue's face that she already knows that she's going home. She looked like she's about to break down and cry right then and there. I don't blame her. I know what it's like to be so close to the end and you just don't quite make it. Even worse that she was, even though she wasn't blindsided, she certainly was thinking right up until the end that there was a good chance that she was going to be able to stay. Now, someone told her before the show started. We later learned that someone was Felicia. Thank you, Felicia. As a viewer, as a house guest, blindsides aren't fun. It's tough. But as a viewer, I wouldn't have minded seeing a blindside here, Felicia. Why'd you have to go and do that? Felicia did it, not Jag. Felicia's the one who told Blue. So obviously, Felicia trying to preserve a jury vote from Blue if Felicia makes it to the final two chairs, which is looking a little uncertain at this point in time. But yeah, Blue already knew that she was going home. She was told right before the show started. We had eviction speeches before the two of them went out the door. I'll just say this. I was not a huge fan of either America or Blue's eviction speeches, the first ones of the evening. I think they were just trying way too hard to be funny. Yeah, they weren't that funny. There you go. Just my own personal opinion. I think they tried a little too hard on that. I was glad to see Blue leave the house in a very classy manner. She had said, if I get out here, I'm throwing hands and I'm cursing out people. She didn't do any of that. She went out classy, and I love to see that. I do kind of wish she'd revealed about Jared and Cirie as she went out the door. It was a 4-0 vote. She had to, she could have said it and used justification that Cirie just voted against her. She didn't say a word about Jared and Cirie, which means that these house guests aren't going to find out until the finale night after the votes are made. Julie Chen will reveal it. We'll see the jaw drops at that moment. I wish we'd seen it last night, but we didn't. Blue went out the door with class, which I love to see. Her talk with Julie Chen outside on the stage, a little awkward. She was taken aback a little bit. Blue was. I still feel the same way I felt about Blue while she was in the house, that for the majority of time, I don't think I was seeing the true person that Blue is. I was seeing a character that she manufactured for views for TikTok or whatever. I just feel like it, and maybe I'm wrong, but it just seemed like a little bit of an awkward conversation. But we did have that as well. All right, the second HOH competition that was held, I really liked that competition, looking at the three posters, answering questions based on memory and all of that. It was cool. I think I would have done well on it as well, but no, I like that competition. Now, there had been talk ahead of time about Matt potentially throwing the HOH to Bowie Jane if it became apparent that she was going to win it, that Felicia and America, there was no way they could win it. Well, Felicia and America were way behind, not their competition at all. So it was obvious eventually that it was going to be either Matt or Bowie Jane. Did he throw it? I don't think he did. I think Matt was trying to win this, which he should. He's got to be building up his resume as well, right? Now, it puts him at a little bit of risk going forward, but he's got Jag protecting him at some future point. If he had won it, it doesn't matter because he lost a tiebreaker. I think Matt was trying to win it, just didn't quite work out. Bowie Jane's guess was a little bit better at the end. So congratulations to Bowie Jane. She's won it. We then get to the veto competition. I'll say this. I'm not a huge fan of the veto comp that they had, running down the stairs, finding the food gumball or whatever it was, dropping it in the tube. I think that that was a dual advantage, especially for Matt. Running, we saw as soon as they take off, Matt and Jag were getting into those balls so much faster than the three ladies were, just longer legs, faster speeds. And then Matt, with his he is a swimmer. He's a tall guy, was able to reach his hand a whole lot closer to that tube to drop the balls into the tube. I think he won it going away, and I think that comp was just designed for Matt. I'm not saying it was rigged or anything like that. I'm just saying it was a comp that benefited someone of Matt's stature and speed and all of that. It is what it is. A physical competition at the end. As soon as they came back outside and I saw the setup, you knew Felicia and Cirie and probably America weren't going to win that thing, right? Yeah, no, it was pretty obvious, but Matt won that as well. I will say it was hard watching America basically begging for them to save her and then crying a little bit as well. She was in the house for 86 days. So props to her for lasting as long as she did. It just didn't quite work out. I thought her interview with Julie on the stage was entertaining. She's really frustrated that no one took the shots at Matt and Jag, that they're going to win this thing. She thinks as a result, she's probably right. I think as a super fan, she sees the situation in the house right now and realizes the what could have been with all of that. And then there was a little talk about Corey, and she seemed very excited to be with Corey. How awkward is it going to be in the jury house for this next week to have Corey and America and Cameron and Blue hanging out together in the jury house? I have a feeling Cameron and Blue are going to spend a little bit more time with each other because the other people may be just missing. But yeah, so we do have that. So with all that being said, congrats and props to Blue and America for lasting as long as they did. I may not have picked either one of them to make it to the final 6 or 7. So congratulations to them for that. All right, let's talk about the feeds themselves because with the new HOH, there's a lot of conversations to be had. The HOH comp itself, we don't know much about it. It was not on the live feeds, so we're just going off of what was said. But it sounds like it was one of those competitions in which the winner of one round maybe picks the next person or two to compete in the next round. Because Matt was talking at one point that, yeah, it really forced us to kind of declare loyalties, to show who we were tight with and who we weren't based on who we picked. It seems as though everyone was maybe picking Felicia and Jag, trying to get them out first. because Felicia's really questioning. She's saying, why was everyone picking me? Why was everyone focused on me? And Jag says something about, well, you and I were the first two out. So it sounds like maybe I assume that Jag and Matt and Bowie Jane were going after Felicia. Felicia and Cirie may be going after Jag, something along those lines. But yeah, I think based on just the very brief conversations, Felicia may understand that maybe she's not quite as tight with Matt and Jag as she once thought that she was. We don't know anything beyond the competition. At least I didn't hear anything about what the competition was, other than it was some kind of picking type competition. We'll find out more going forward. But it did force them to kind of reveal their hand about who they were tighter with and not tight with. And Felicia has noticed this. All right. Jag is saying that Blue had told them, I guess when Felicia spilled the beans earlier, maybe Jag came in afterwards or something, because Jag is saying, or maybe Jag was in there at the same time, I'm not sure, but Jag is saying that Blue told him, said, you did this to me, that she really was blaming him for what happened, and that she revealed to Jag that, I would have gone after you and Matt, but I would have gone after Matt before I went after you, Jag. So you probably didn't need to go after me right now anyway. But Jag saying, I'm glad she at least fessed up that we were going to be her target. So I guess that gives him a little bit more of a comfort factor that he took her out before she took him out. So we do have a little background on that. All right, we've got Jag and Bowie Jane talking a little bit. Bowie Jane is saying that she's going to find out if Cirie maybe was targeting Matt and Jag. Does it really matter at this point in time? I don't know that it does. It seems irrelevant, but she's going to find out if Cirie maybe did want to go after Matt and Jag. Now, having said that, maybe not so irrelevant for Bowie Jane. Anything she can do to make sure that the target stays on Cirie and Felicia certainly benefits her. I think, and it seems like she's the tightest with Matt and Jag, that these are going to be our final three, or at least that they're safe this week, probably, and we'll talk about that. But from her standpoint, Bowie Jane's got to be a little bit worried that theoretically you could have a final four between Matt and Jag, Cirie, and Felicia, with Bowie Jane being the odd person out. We know that's probably not the case, but she doesn't know that. So anything she can do to keep the target on Cirie and Felicia, she's certainly going to do. And that includes, from her standpoint, hoping that she can get Cirie to say, yeah, I was going after Matt and Jag. She'll turn right around and tell Matt and Jag that as well. So that's her task. She's going to figure out what she can do. Jag is saying that if they can get Felicia and Cirie on the block together, that he thinks they'll turn on each other, and that will certainly help them as well. If they can get them going after each other as they campaign. He's saying that they need to get them on the block, and then Matt or Jag and Bowie Jane win veto. Keep it the same so that no one else has to go on the block. No one else being Jag or Bowie Jane. So it certainly is sounding like the target is going to be Felicia and Cirie. Jag is saying that Cirie is the better player, and basically his target, but he's just saying she's the better player. She probably needs to be the one to go. It seems like Bowie Jane is agreeing with that as well. Jag is wondering if Cirie, through the eviction or through the HOH that Bowie Jane won, he's saying she was doing so well. Her first three she got right. She's in the lead, and then suddenly she just doesn't do it. Did she want to win this thing? Did she want to throw it, figuring that she was safe? There'd been talk ahead of time that they suspected that Cirie didn't really want to win that one, and so maybe she did throw it. She may pay the price if she does, because I can easily see Cirie going home this week. All right, he thinks that she probably did throw it, and we'll see if that turns out to be the case, if they have any discussions on it going forward. All right, Bowie is saying that she would prefer to be in a final four with Felicia, so it does sound like Jag and Bowie Jane both would prefer to target Cirie this week, whereas Matt has a tighter relationship with Cirie. Matt would rather have Felicia head out the door. So even though these three are working together, there's a little dissension, I think, that we're going to see in terms of who should go home first. Unfortunately for Matt, he doesn't have a vote since he's HOH. It's going to be Felicia. It's going to be Bowie Jane and Jag who decide if the nominations are Felicia and Cirie, and if the veto is not won by either one of them, then Jag and Bowie Jane decide who goes home, and it sounds like it could be Cirie at this point in time. So Cirie, she's played a brilliant game so far, but not winning that HOH may cost her going forward. All right, we've got Jag saying that Corey had claimed that Matt was playing the best game. Thought that was interesting to point out. Just in case somewhere down the road, Bowie needed to pick between Matt and Jag. Perhaps that's why he's throwing out there, but saying, yeah, Corey said Matt's always played the better game, that he's going to win if he makes it to the end. Bowie is saying that America had claimed that Cirie and Blue had a final two, and that Matt maybe was part of that final two. I guess you'd call that final three, right? But that Matt was maybe tight with Cirie and Blue as part of that little relationship. So we have Jag and Bowie Jane both kind of throwing Matt under the bus a little bit and just making little hints to each other about why Matt maybe isn't who they would want to go with to the very end. We'll see if any of that develops. It's not going to develop this week since Matt's HOH, but again, he's vulnerable next week. So maybe, are they going to stay that tight? We'll find out. All right, we've got Felicia and Jag talking a little bit. Felicia wanting to know if Bowie is part of his final four, and saying that she knows she's going up on the block. Felicia, I think, is understanding that maybe her position isn't as strong as she thought it was. So basically saying at one point, instead, she tells Jag, she says, I know that no one wants to put up Cirie. Again, she's throwing Cirie under the bus a little bit of, hey, Jag, everyone likes Cirie, right? No one's going to do anything to Cirie. So she's saying, no one to put up Cirie, so I know I'm going up on the block. So really the question is Bowie Jane part of Final Four you want? In other words, is it going to be me, or is it going to be Bowie Jane that y'all try to send out next week? So she's kind of prodding and questioning as best she can, and not really getting any definite answers from Jag. We've got all but Cirie are talking. Cirie, I think, was in the diary room at the time, but everyone else is talking. Not gameplay. They're more talking about Corey and America, that they're going to be back together again, and how great it is. And there's talk about how Corey could propose to America on the show itself, that other people have done it before. And as I said yesterday, I hope we don't have any proposals this coming up finale, but we will find out. But they're laughing. They're thinking about how that could work out. Someone says, yeah, they could be married and have a couple of kids within just a couple of years. Corey's still in college. I think slow your roll, guys, but they're having fun talking about it. All right, we've got Felicia saying that Taylor set the record for most times on the block at 5, and I guess she's thinking that she's getting ready to break that record as well. No, nowhere close, Felicia. I myself was on the block 6 times, but I came nowhere close to setting the record. The record is Victoria from season 16, and I don't know what the number is. One of y'all, if you check it out, put it in the comments. Let me know how many times Victoria was on the block. I want to say it was like 10 or 11 times. She was on the block a lot more than anyone else, more so than Felicia, more so than Taylor, more so than myself. But Felicia's talking about basically, I think, just trying to hint around at how many times that she's been on the block already, as in, do you really want to put me on the block again? Yeah, there's very few people left, and it's not going to be Bowie Jane. So yeah, Felicia, you are going on the block again. Felicia says at one point that she's happy that the veto was something that she could do. I didn't think that when I saw the veto. I didn't for a second think, oh gosh, this is a veto that's perfect for Felicia. I'm so glad they gave her one that she could win. No, just the opposite. Yeah, Felicia stood, I won't say zero chance, but she stood very minimal chance to win that veto competition. But she's saying, I'm glad they gave us one like that. Okay. Bowie Jane got her basket downstairs. Now, it's unfortunate when you win the first HOH of the evening as part of a double. Then later on, someone else wins the HOH. So Bowie Jane's never going to get an HOH room. Same thing happened during my season. Nicole won the HOH. She never actually got the room itself, but she did get a basket down in the storage room, and Bowie Jane has gotten the same thing. She's gotten a basket with different items in it. She's got a letter from her friend that I guess runs her social media, she said. So she's celebrating that a little bit in pictures and all of that. Meanwhile, we've got a little bit later, Jag and Matt in the storage room. They're a little happy. Yeah, of course they're happy. Everything's going according to plan. Jag is saying, of everyone left in this house, Bowie Jane is the one person who won't take a shot at him. That they think Cirie would go after him if she had a chance, that Felicia would go after him if she had a chance. Bowie Jane's the one person I feel pretty safe with at this point in time. I think that's a good read. Matt saying, Bowie Jane's not going up. She's not touching the block this week, which by process of elimination means that he's looking at Cirie and Felicia going up on the block this week if it's not going to be Bowie Jane. Bowie Jane could make it to the final two having never gone up on the block. Is that enough for her to take a victory? Yeah, not sure, but it's certainly a talking point that could exist. Now she has to make it there first, which means breaking up Matt and Jag. There's a lot of people that's on social media complaining that Bowie Jane made a horrible move by not taking the shot at Matt and Jag last night, going after Felicia and America instead. And really, America, I get what they're saying. I absolutely understand it. But from Bowie's standpoint, I can see what she was thinking, what she was considering. If she sticks, if she didn't take a shot at Matt and Jag, she has a very reasonable expectation that she would make it to a final three. If she can make it to a final three, then you've got probably Jag probably winning the physical part of the final competitions, right? I mean, I think everyone would expect that. But then it would be Bowie Jane versus Matt on a little bit more of a mental type competition, which is typically the second part of the final competition. And she's got to feel like she can beat Matt on that. She's beat him in 2 mental competitions so far. And I think she probably feels like she could beat him again. So then if she does that, then it's just a matter of beating Jag in the final memory competition. She's an attorney. I'm sure she feels confident that she could maybe do something on that. Suddenly she's getting to drag one of those two guys to final two. She's an attorney. She's got to think that if it really comes down to a convincing a jury, that she may have the inside lead on Jag with that. And even if that didn't work out, even if she didn't win and drag someone to the final two, she may also be looking at this as a situation where if she can just make it to the final three, that maybe Matt doesn't want to take Jag to the final two. Maybe Jag doesn't want to take Matt. And as a result, she could break those two up and get into a final two as just a bit of a default situation. So I can see from Bowie Jane's point of view that she could see a lot of opportunities of making it into a final chair by sticking with the two guys, even though they're as dangerous as they are. Now consider the other alternative. If Bowie Jane had gone ahead and taken a shot at Matt and Jag, put them both on the block, it's almost certain that one of them wins the veto, right? We're not expecting Cirie or Felicia or America to win it. And so probably one of them wins, pulls himself off the block. It's possible that then America, Felicia, and Cirie send the other one out the door. But even if that happens, now you've still got one very strong player, Matt or Jag, who may turn around and still go after Bowie Jane because she betrayed him and send her out the door at final four, I guess. There's also the possibility from Bowie Jane's standpoint that if she put the two of them up, one of them pulls off the block, that you could have two people, America, Felicia, Cirie, whoever isn't on the block as a replacement for whoever comes off, that they would still control the vote and potentially could save Jag or Matt, whoever was still on the block. Because you got to remember, Bowie Jane sees this possibility of Felicia, Cirie, Matt, and Jag as being a four, as a possibility. So it's a lot of discussion. We can consider, I'm sure there'll be a lot of discussion continuing, but I see her standpoint that maybe she felt very vulnerable if she took a big shot, and feeling safer that if she can just make it to the final three, then she has the power to make things happen. I'm not sure Bowie Jane wins against anyone left in the house. Maybe Felicia, but anyone else, I think it's a tough row to hoe. So it may be that she's feeling her best chances are sticking with what she did. A lot of talk, a lot of opinion, but I see her side of it. All right. With all that being said, it looks like it's going to be Cirie and Felicia going up on the block. All right. Matt got his HOH room. He had a few pictures like always, but one picture in particular, kind of interesting. A picture of his mom and Riley posing together. Y'all remember Riley, right? She was like from way early in the season. Matt told her he had a little crush on her, and I think she said something like, "Oh, thanks, buddy." Not exactly the glowing remark back that you would expect, but she's posing with Matt's mom in a picture, which has him rather excited. And he's got a letter, an HOH letter, not from his mom and dad, but from Riley. Now, isn't that interesting? Have we ever had a situation where a former house guest has written an HOH letter to a current house guest? I'm thinking Swaggy and Bailey, perhaps. So I don't know that it's ever happened. Did Bailey win any HOHs when after Swaggy went that season? I don't think so. But no, so he got a letter from Riley telling him congratulations and all that. At one point, she talked about how great he looked with braids in. They mentioned that was early in the season, like week number 2 or 3. So this letter could have been written a long time ago by Riley, and production's just been sitting on this thing for the last 5-6 weeks saying, "Oh, God, is this guy ever going to win an HOH so that we can give him his picture and letter from Riley?" Production just sitting there waiting. Well, they finally got their chance. So yeah, he's got a picture and a letter from Riley. He is very excited. At one point, he says, "Oh, I guess I got a girlfriend." He even talks about moving to Nashville and everything, and not super seriously, but I do think that suddenly Matt is envisioning a whole lot more opportunities when he gets out of the house, and everyone else is cheering him on as well, and happy that Riley responded and all of that. We'll see. It could be an interesting finale night without any regard even to who wins the thing and votes and all that. Just all the other Jared and Blue, Corey and America, Matt and Riley. I just love Island out here. All right. So we had that. That was kind of funny to watch. Now Matt brings up an interesting point. I think it was Matt. Matt says, I wonder if maybe did Jared write a letter to Blue in case Blue won an HOH, that she would have gotten a letter from Jared, like I got one from Riley. And he says, I guess we're never going to know. Yeah, since she didn't win an HOH, that's right. I feel we'll find out from Jared if that maybe was the case. But yeah, he's wondering if maybe they had something similar set up for Blue as well. All right, we've got Matt and Jag and Bowie Jane talking. Matt's telling Jag and Bowie Jane, saying, y'all aren't touching the block. Again, he's confirming it's going to be Cirie and Felicia. He's saying that even if something bad happens, like Cirie winning the veto, in which case it would force Matt to put up Jag or Bowie Jane. That may be Bowie Jane's chance to see the block finally. But he's saying even if that happens, it still would result in a 1-1 tie. I'm the tiebreaker. You guys aren't going anywhere. So yeah, I don't see how, unless Cirie works some magic and turns someone against each other here pretty quickly, I can't see a situation where we aren't going to have Bowie Jane, Jag, and Matt, all three making it into the final four with one or the other of the two ladies, the two mamas. All right, he's saying even if something bad happens, he'll break the tie. Matt is also saying that now he has a reason to put up Felicia, and it's based on her blowing up the vote and basically selling them out. I think he's referring to her telling Blue before the live show that she was a target, that she was going to be the one going home. I think that's what he was talking about. But he's saying now he has a reason to send Felicia out. At this point in the game, you don't need a reason. You just say it's best for my game, and that's all there is to it. I don't feel like I'm as close to you as someone else, or I feel like there's others I can beat. That's what you say a lot of times at this point in time. Don't tell Felicia that, you're just not good for my game. Say, you're so powerful. There's no way I would ever want to sit in a final 2 chair with you, Felicia, because you've got too many strong relationships with the jury. I'm sending you home because you are such a powerful threat. That's why I can't keep you on board. You got to kiss up a little bit for that jury management. But he's saying now he has a reason of why he can tell Felicia she's going up on the block. Matt talks a little bit. He says that Felicia's a little bit salty with all the conversations that's been had. At one point, he tried to give her a hug, and she said it was a fake ass hug and didn't want a fake ass hug from him. And Matt says, well, now I'm going to give her a fake ass pawn situation. And he says Felicia's going to be on jury. So that's what he's got in mind. Now, again, I think Bowie Jane and Jag may be looking a different direction. Felicia could be on jury, but it may not be next week. It may be the week following. All right. Bowie Jane thinks that there's going to be all kinds of ammo to use against either Felicia or Cirie once they start campaigning against each other. She's waiting to see what kind of info Felicia in particular is going to spill on Cirie. There's going to be a lot of finger pointing. This could be very interesting to see how this works out. All three of them talking about that now everything is out in the open. Once the two of them are on the block, they already understand probably they're going up, but once they're on the block, everything's going to be in the open. Who's aligned with who's protecting who. They can all hang out together. Bowie Jane says, I've just been sitting out here playing pool all this time and acting like I'm not with anyone. Now I can finally, basically declare I can hang out with y'all guys. We don't have to tiptoe around. So they certainly are feeling a lot of relief. Double eviction is so exhausting regardless of the outcome, but especially when the outcome works the way you want it to. They're enjoying their situation in the game right now and feeling very comfortable. We'll see if it sticks around. They're in a strong position. All right, Bowie is suggesting that Matt should tell Felicia and Cirie that another justification for putting them on the block is that Matt, when he won HOH, that when Bowie won HOH, she didn't put Matt up. So now Matt is returning the favor by not putting Bowie up. Is you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. So another reason why Bowie isn't going to see the block. I just don't think you need reasons right now, but she's throwing them out there. Bowie wants to stay off the block, either because she knows that while you're on there, things can happen, or just because she knows that's going to be one of her huge arguments if she makes it to a jury pitch. All right, Bowie is saying at one point, she says, we're the only real alliance in this house, and we don't even have a name. So without a name, are people going to be able to talk about us going down the road? We need to have a name so people can reference us for future gameplay and all that. You're like your last 2 weeks. Come up with a name, but no one's probably going to refer to it that much anyway. I know Nicole, myself, Mickey, and Holly, we never had a alliance name because we thought it would just put a bigger target on us. I'm not big into the alliance names, but I know it's a thing. So she wants to have a name for as they go out, as they finish up this season. They're talking about sinking ships and drawing lines, and I don't think they ever came up with a name that really anyone was sold on, but I'm sure they'll work on it a little bit more. So they're talking about that. They're talking about not sharing their wine with Felicia or Cirie. I guess Matt got some, or Bowie Jane got some for her HOH basket, and then Matt got his as well. And they've just decided that Felicia in particular drinks way too much wine. They don't want to share it with her. They say at one point, we'll give Cirie a little bit, but we're not giving Felicia any of it. They even talk about putting it in their drink bottles so they can drink wine right in front of the ladies and they won't even know, and how funny that's going to be. Don't let it go to your head too much, guys. Yes, you're in charge. But you still don't want to alienate the other side. You don't want to. Their game is on the line. If you're too euphoric and laughing and happy and joyful while they're feeling bad, that carries over into jury votes, and they're going to be deciding who wins $750,000. So no matter how much you want to maybe have fun with the situation and laugh about it and enjoy each other's company and not tiptoe around and do everything that Bowie talked about, the better choice, I think, is still to be nice and kind to the other ones and say, I hate that we're in this situation. It is what it is, but I've so enjoyed being in the house, and be so empathetic to the two people who are on the block. You got to keep on playing the game. You can't stop right now. And maybe none of this will happen, but they certainly are talking about not sharing anything with these guys and drinking the wine in front of them, and they won't even know, and blah, 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 blah. All right. They are talking about if it hadn't been Bowie Jane is talking about if it hadn't been a double, how miserable it would have been, because America would have been talking bad about them all week long. She would have been in Bowie Jane's ear all week long, trying to change her mind and all that. Yeah, you certainly want to take out people in the double sometimes that are going to be doing a lot of campaigning and everything. During our season, it was during the double, we sent out Christy. I'm happy we sent her out then, because I would not have wanted Christy crying and pitching to us for a solid week. That would have been tough. So I get what Bowie Jane is saying. All right, they're saying that the jury hates all three of them pretty much equally, which works to their advantage. There, even if it's a bitter jury, they're going to be bitter at all of them. So maybe that negates some of that bitterness. They do mention that Felicia and Cirie have no blood on their hands and would probably win a jury vote as a result. So again, it's all three of these guys basically reminding each other that don't turn on us. We've got to get Felicia and Cirie out. Otherwise, one of them could win this thing. So they're just pointing that out as well. And then finally, we got Bowie claiming that she didn't know in Big Brother that there were so many people in multiple alliances. When there's 400 alliances in the house, you got to have people in multiples. But she's saying she didn't realize that was the case. Matt is saying that he never formed any alliances, that he got pulled into them, but he never actually formed any himself. So it is interesting listening to them kind of reminisce and talk about what they learned and earlier in the season and all of that. And with that, everyone in bed by 4:30 or so in the morning, 6:30 Houston time. So yeah, a little late getting this out because I was waiting for these guys. But yeah, everyone in bed by 4:30 or so Big Brother time. Today we'll have the nominations. I fully expect Cirie and Felicia to be on the block at this point in time. It does look like Cirie and Felicia will go on the block. Matt wants to target Felicia. But Jag and Bowie may be targeting Cirie instead, and they control the 2 votes. So Cirie, I think this is going to be a pretty important veto competition come Saturday. Now, here's the thing. I can certainly, Matt's got a tight relationship with Cirie, right? Is there any possibility that he would not put Cirie up, that he would tell Bowie Jane, saying, I promise you are nothing but a pawn, but I want Felicia out, and if I put Cirie up, I don't think Cirie's going out the door. I need Felicia gone. So you're going up, but Jag and I are both promising you aren't going anywhere. Try to sell it like that and put Bowie Jane and Felicia up instead. I don't think there's any chance of that happening, and it's because of this. If he puts Felicia and Cirie on the block together, if either one of them wins veto, they pull themselves off the block, and as a result, you now have Matt, you have Jag and Bowie Jane. One of them has to go up in place of whoever wins the veto. But Jag, again, Matt controls the tiebreaker, still sends them out the door. So if Cirie and Felicia are on the block together, you guarantee that one of them's going home. If you left Cirie off the block, if you had Felicia and Bowie Jane on the block, suddenly, if Cirie won the veto, she could use that to pull Felicia off the block. Would she? She may, because by pulling Felicia off the block, it would force Matt to then put up Jag alongside Bowie Jane, guaranteeing that one of them goes home. Cirie and Felicia would control the majority of the votes, so they could take a shot at Jag at that point in time. So if he doesn't put Felicia and Cirie on the block together, it could cause blowback on them, end up with Jag going home. So as much as Matt feels tight with Cirie and doesn't necessarily want her going home first, at the same time, he doesn't have any choice but to put the 2 of them up together. So I think that's going to happen. Now, we had, forgot to mention, at one point during the conversations while they're out playing pool, Matt actually mentions to Cirie and, Matt mentions to Bowie Jane and Jag that, worst case situation, if Cirie wins the veto, I'm going to talk her into not using the veto. I'm going to convince her that it's still not in her best interest, that Felicia's going home. If she just will sit there on the block, it's going to make it better for her, and she's not going anywhere. So I'm going to convince her not to use the veto. How do you ever convince someone not to use a veto in this type of situation when there's only 5 of you left? I don't think there's any chance in the world it's going to happen, but he threw it out there. So there you go, guys. I know a lot more analysis than I normally put out there, but I've been thinking about it, well, at least for the last few hours since I went to bed. But yeah, so Felicia, Cirie on the block. It'll all come down to the veto competition. But it looks like it'll be probably Felicia. If not Felicia, I say probably Cirie. If not Cirie, then Felicia. The other one will be on the final 4 along with Matt, Jag, and Bowie Jane. And then we'll see what happens. So there you have it, guys. Exciting night. It's going to be exciting. Nomination, maybe not so much. Veto tomorrow is going to be fantastic. But until then, guys, I'll be back tomorrow morning to give you an update on the nominations. all pitches and campaignings and a whole lot of finger pointing that's going to start happening. So I will see y'all tomorrow. Y'all enjoy y'all's Friday until tomorrow morning. SKD 143. Cheers, my friends.